A lot of research has gone into the economic impacts of a certain country or city hosting a sporting event like the World Cup, Olympics, or the Euros. And this is for good reason, as often billions of dollars are spent on things like infrastructure for these events. However, there is a lot less research into whether a country or specific sports team winning a sports competition can have an impact on the economy. Of course, hosting a major sports event will have some consequences, such as bringing in tourists for the event itself and stimulating spending by the government on stadiums and transport to accommodate all these new visitors. But what if an economy can benefit without having to go through all the effort and expense of being a host nation? There aren't really many direct ways that winning a sporting tournament would benefit an economy. The prize money is very small compared to the size of a whole economy, and winning a football competition shouldn't really cause the economy to produce any more than usual. The economic impacts are a little more subtle or indirect than those that arise from spending billions on hosting a sporting event. A report by Goldman Sachs found that winners of the Football World Cup do tend to receive short-run economic benefits. They found that in the month after winning the competition, the winner's stock market outperforms the global market by 3.5% on average. However, this report doesn't really go into the reasons why winning a football tournament would boost the economy. During the tournament itself, a country will see increasingly many members of the population going to local bars and restaurants to watch the games. As we get to the semi-final and final of the tournament, even those who don't usually watch the sport may go to a bar for such a big game and spend on food and drinks. There are other areas where consumer spending may increase, such as on increased shirt sales, flags, scarves, and on transport to watch the game with friends and family. Team sponsors and television broadcasters will benefit, while sports betting is also a huge industry that gets a big boost during major tournaments, so domestic bookmakers will profit in the short term. However, the Goldman Sachs paper actually finds that most World Cup runners-up, or those that lose in the final, have seen their stock markets do very badly for the 3 months following a World Cup final loss, with an average relative fall of 5.6% over the first 3 months. This is true even though that country would have still benefited from people going out to bars and increasing spending due to the cup final. So, why does the economy of the winner benefit while the loser is so much worse off? Well, another factor which may have a significant impact on the economy is known as market sentiment. This looks at the overall attitude or feeling of investors and consumers in an economy. A number of things can affect the sentiment of people, and this is where human psychology can play a large role in economies. For example, there are a number of studies which have found that natural disasters such as earthquakes can reduce market sentiment, making people believe a stock market crash is more likely. Stock values have thus been found to fall after a number of major disasters, even if that disaster didn't have a large impact on production in the economy. The same impact may be felt for artificial disasters and terrorism. On the flip side of this, when people are positive and happy, they may be more optimistic about the market. This can lead people to spend and invest more, thus boosting the economy. This is where winning a major tournament comes into play. Even though the national team shouldn't really cause stocks to be worth any more, it can improve the nation's average mood and optimism, making people more likely to invest. An example of this is that studies have shown a strong association between the performance of the England football team and daily changes in shares of the 100 largest companies traded on the London Stock Exchange. These are all examples of behavioural biases. An economy is made up of people, and these people can act irrationally sometimes based on psychological factors. If a whole nation has reason to be optimistic or pessimistic, the whole economy, at least in the short term, can be affected. That being said, the Goldman Sachs paper goes on to find that the World Cup winning country does not hold on to its extra economic growth. The stock market goes on to underperform by around 4% on average over the year following the final. This means that in the long run, the economy is largely unaffected by the World Cup win. This makes perfect sense, as winning the World Cup doesn't increase how much an economy can produce, it's just a short-run shock to confidence. The benefits will disappear after a few months as people are no longer caught up in the optimism surrounding the win, and the markets will adjust back to where they should be based on economic fundamentals. It follows that this effect will work in much the same way for different types of sporting events. Winning the Euro Championships, the Copa America, or the Rugby World Cup can also have an impact. And even within countries, there is some evidence to suggest that the economies of cities which win the Super Bowl or other domestic championships will have a short-term boost. Now, it does of course depend on how many people watch and support these competitions. The Rugby World Cup in 2019 was watched by a total of 51 million people, while the Football World Cup in 2018 was watched by a total of 1.1 billion, according to FIFA. We can thus expect that the Rugby World Cup will have a smaller effect on the economy than the Football World Cup, and domestic competitions will likely have an even smaller impact. There are also some ways that a tournament win can impact an economy in the long run, one of these potentially being more investment into sport by a government. But there could be any number of impacts from the positivity a World Cup win brings. A win at the right time can even lead to increased support for the current government, which can have huge knock-on consequences if this helps them to win an election. Winning a tournament in the middle of a recession could be a great way to boost economic confidence and stimulate some much needed spending. Equally, losing a cup final during already tough economic times could push the economy into further hardship and cause some very real issues for a government. Ignoring the economy as a whole, individuals can profit greatly from buying stocks before the cup final and then selling them before the feeling of optimism fades away. Beyond this, sport is a great distraction during times of hardship, and we saw that more than ever when sport returned during the COVID pandemic. The benefits of a strong national sports team will always be predominantly social and cultural, but once in a while, a sport can capture the attention of a nation. And when that happens, whether we realise it or not, there will always be some impact on the economy. That will conclude this video. Please do leave a like if you found it interesting. Make sure to check out the channel for other videos like this one, and subscribe to add some econ to your subscription feed.